Hello everyone, lovely sunny day here at Autumn Cottage, where we're in the last week in November already. And like a lot of you, I'm imagining that you're wondering where on earth not just the month but the whole year has gone. I'm doing a lot of cleaning and tidying at the moment. It's that time of the year. Cutting back, cleaning up, and assessing a little bit of damage, which is where we've had some work done on the house, and the only access was through a flower bed, which is just about to flower, of course. Never mind, the work was important. Most things are just dying back now. There's lots of cutting and cleaning involved, but I just wanted to take you over to see one thing that seems to be flowering spectacularly well at the moment, which is this winter Jasmine. There's another one over by the bird feeders. I've never seen quite so much flower on it. The veg garden is certainly ready for a clean and brush up. Everything's died back now. Here are the remains of the beans, but I'll just take you through to show you where some of the winter veg are growing. If you remember, I planted up some chard down here in an area which is very shady. The chard's doing very well. Some kale there, which is also not doing too badly. But for the rest of it, it's really just somewhere where the plants can rest over the winter. Shows you how wild it's been up until now, because we still actually have a rose blooming there in a pot, to be granted, but still it's in bloom. As you can see, there are still plenty of jobs for me in the garden, as there always are at this time of the year. Lots of tidying up to do. But several people have actually asked me if I'd show them a little more of what goes on inside the cottage, which I'm only too happy to do, particularly at this time of the year. So after beautifully photographing my shadow, I will turn round, show you the rest of the garden, and then I'll take you indoors and we can see what I'm getting up to there. This is what happens when you don't get a net on the pond. A little bit more work for me to do there. You watched this garden grow up with me in the spring, and now you can watch it gently and quietly die back for the autumn and winter. It'll be back again next year. It's getting really quite windy and chilly out there now, so come on inside, we'll all warm up and I'll show you what I've been doing. You can tell that Christmas is approaching when I start thinking about cleaning all the glassware in the windows of the sunroom. And that's the project I'm involved in at the moment. Look, can you see the dust? Oh dear. I tackled this window on the other side of the room over the weekend, and when the sun comes out, the light through the glass makes it appear like a rainbow, stained glass, beautiful. And most of these junk shop finds. It's the same with the little collection of pillboxes that I've got here. One or two of them inherited, but most just collected from probably Hungerford Arcade. They look pretty all together. I'll show you what I do. I'll show you how I wash them with no real great preciousness at all. I take them down off the shelf, each shelf full of glass. I put a piece of kitchen paper on a tray, and as you can see, I lay down the pieces on their side if I think they might topple over. And then it's just me and the washing up bowl and some warm soapy water. You can put a sponge in the bottom of the bowl if you want. I don't feel it's necessary because it's a plastic bowl and I'm very careful. One of the items that I do find very useful is this long-handled and long-necked brush that gets right down inside very small glasses and jars. I have to say, one of the things I enjoy least about doing this job, it's lovely to see the glass becoming clean, but I hate actually finding all the dead bees and wasps, lots of other things inside the bottoms of these that have disappeared there. So there we are, all those little pieces of glass have had a nice wash with a soft cloth, and now they're in the drainer, just draining off. I'll leave them there for 10 or 15 minutes, and then instead of drying them with a soft cloth, which you could do, I find there's so many of them, I take them over and put them on the Stanley cooker on a tray to dry completely without being touched. So here's the first shelf full that I did earlier. There they are, they're just sitting on a tray, piece of kitchen paper, drying off in the warmth of the heat around the cooker. I'll just leave them there until they're completely dry and put them back on the shelf. Very easy, not a lot of hard work if you're not drying them individually. Before everything goes back up on the shelves, I thought you might like to just see one or two items that I've collected over the years. I'm particularly fond of this little item. It's a gorgeous little dolphin made on Murano. It's lost the end of his tail, but that's hanging around somewhere ready to be glued back. If it isn't already obvious, I do have a passion for glass from Venice, and this is just a beautiful enamelled jug. I think it might be Victorian. Has a whacking great crack at the back, but that's the great thing about junk shop finds. You just turn it around and nobody can see. Some of the very few things that I have paid full price for are these lovely pieces of Bristol blue glass up here. I think you'll agree that a little outlay was worth it for such gorgeous deep blue colours. And along with the deep, deep blues of the Bristol blue, another passion that I have is for this ruby red glass, which is actually sometimes known as cranberry glass, made by throwing gold into the furnace, I believe. Again, a lot of these items, very thrifty purchases, but very often, you know, one item that looks absolutely nothing on its own can just look really interesting when it's placed with others. They're either similar in size or shape or history, so always keep your eye open in the junk shops, and you never know what you might find.